So, Tom, we have been
Tanya, yes.
we have been working together now for about 6 years.
Yeah.
And I've started with energy. We've put Astroflower together. You've created the Astroflower channel, the tarot.
Yeah.
You talk about energy healing a lot.
Yeah.
You keep saying it's, I'm an energy healer, pretty much in most videos. So I think it's about time that we brought this whole energy healing thing to the fore, to the front, so that people can really see what it is that you do. I know what you do, and the many thousands of people that you have helped and healed over the years know what you can do.
Oh, yeah.
And it is beyond belief. It is beyond fascinating. It is beyond phenomenal. I'm not going to big you up too much because that would be embarrassing for you.
No, because it's not me who's doing it. At the end of the day, it is only energy that's doing it. I'm just the plumber. I don't heat your house. I put in place the heating system for the body, but I don't actually heat your house. Only the people will heat their house. So the people, I just set settings up so the people can heal themselves.
Okay. So
that's my sort of
so he brings himself back
clause.
down. But I think it would be a fantastic time to start sharing what it is that you do and to see things, how you see things energetically, physically when you work with people. But we need to start somewhere. I've been on this journey with you. My whole perspective about energy and healing has completely changed over the years that I've known you. I've been in a very privileged position to be able to sit and just ask you questions. And, one question has led to 100, has led to 1,000 over the years. It's a never-ending interrogation. And I'm still learning, and we are all still learning. So
you are interrogating the interrogator. That's the thing. Because you're interrogating me, and I'm interrogating energy and everything like that.
The information is coming down.
Yeah, and that's the whole sort of.
And I'm sure we want to share this.
Okay, so maybe we need to go into probably the best thing to do is define what energy actually is. I can only define it from myself, and I'm sure there's loads of people who've got different types of definition of what energy is and so forth, but I will define it from my side of how I sort of understood it. So I sort of when in my early years, I'm talking 15, 16, 17, I started opening up to that whole idea of energy, and I participated in energy healing for headaches and stuff like that at the local market when I was sort of 16, 17. And then started seeing auras and so forth. Then I had I started doing dowsing and so forth, and started feeling spirits and what have you. Then I had an NDE,
near-death experience
when I was 22,
which we will go into in another video.
Exactly, because it needs an
episode unto itself.
Yeah, and then I could really see energy everywhere, in everything. And it was all over the place. It was almost getting in the way of trying to see normal life in a way at the very beginning. And I understood that and I'm only 22 and I had no one around me to explain it apart, there was no internet at that stage. There was no mobile phones like we have now. So there was no sort of I'll quickly look that up on the internet.
Can't really Google it.
No. So I got into the habit of being autodidact about learning about energy, of what I see, and how it changes in according to interactions with. So because I saw it around everything, around trees, animals, obviously humans, but also around sort of table, chairs. It's in everything. And it keeps a constant frequency of that person. And and that time as well, I was getting pretty spiritual and everything like that. So I read the Bible, I read the Quran, I read I read quite a lot of the Torah and the conversions of it, and sort of like the Book of the Dead, and from the Egyptian and the Tibetan sort of thing.
But no medical books.
No medical.
Nothing simple like this is how the human body goes together.
Far too serious. That seemed far too serious. But it's okay. So I came to this conclusion that energy is like the breath of God. It connects everything together, as much as it connects consciousness as the physical being. and it connects regardless of what type of physical being you are, be you plant, animal or mineral. You can open up some sort of vague conversation through the idea of energy. So I would, and through my investigations after that, doing dowsing and ley lines and energy lines and Stonehenge and loads of different ancient cultures. In the Greek culture, it's called pneuma, which means lungs of the earth, the breath of the earth. Like chi energy is like the breath of the earth. It seemed right to me that the best way to describe energy is the breath of God.
So energy is everything. Everything is energy. That's how you perceived it.
Yeah.
It is everything.
Yeah.
So how did the healing? What is energy healing in that respect then?
This is so if energy connects everything together. Let's say I was working on someone's lower back. You can see that you can see it, the lower back as something physical, which you can tangibly sort of touch and see within your mind's eye, as it were. And then you can also see the flow of energy, which is also tangible and see with your mind's eye. And you can see where, although you may not see a major problem physically with the back, you can see the complications with energy. Now that's creating things that can be more difficult to see, like nervous systems and stuff like that, which is very much more sort of subtle. And then you find out there's a problem in the nerves. So but the energy is the go-between. When you start sticking your finger in, because I normally stick my finger into things.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah, go on.
When did it go from seeing energy around things to being able to see energy in things?
Yeah, that was quite some time afterwards, actually. First things first, when from 22 to 27, around that 5-year period, I learned a lot about who I was, who I am, and who I will be. And it was, I guess, a hugely spiritual part of my life. And so I was interacting with energy almost like a detached way, like dowsing it, seeing it, playing with it, but never really going into it, if you know what I mean. And then that's when I started opening up to meditation and visualization and so forth. And also I went dowsing with what became a good friend of mine who taught me a lot about dowsing, a lot about energy, to be honest, was a gentleman called Colin Bloy. And he introduced the idea of visualizing the Earth's energy, which I wasn't physically at. So I was displacing myself. And I must have been 25, 26, around about that sort of stage. 26, I think, when I was in sort of, 25, 26, around that sort of age there, when I was in France. I just got to France and I was just learning about that. So there was 2 Englishmen in France. One was he was a lot older than me, Colin. But, he learned a lot about that sort of thing. And that's when I realised that.
So you could see something in your mind's eye, and that was within a person.
Yeah.
Not in a detached way, but that actually was within the person.
Well, yeah, this is it. When I started coming back to the idea of something that I was doing when I was sort of 16, 17, Colin was saying, well, if you're healing, why can't you just look directly in the essence of it? Go past the first layers of energy, which are looking from the exterior, and go into the inside of it. And,
So did you start experimenting?
Yeah, so I started, experimenting, and Colin had the idea of sort of things having archetypes and shapes and stuff like that. So it gave me the basic fundamentals of how I could quantify what I was seeing. And I was working on something, and I found myself making shortcuts. So rather than doing things that are taking a long time, doing things a lot quicker, and it's like almost getting instantaneous responses from the energy.
What was your feedback from energy? How did you know you were doing something right or something was correct?
It's a bit like a stroking a dog, I guess. You know, when you stroke a dog and the dog looks at you and oh yeah, go on in, stroke me more. You know, it's.
And is that when you discovered the energy within your hands?
No, well, the clicking that's what you're on about. The clicking started before that, when I was speaking to spirits.
Okay.
And spirit, and finding out my spiritual side. So I was having a conversation, which I can only, at the age of 22, I can perceive it as being like a conversation with God. And I don't mean God as in a person who's sitting on a cloud, you know, with a long beard. It's the breath of the universe that we're in, you know. And when I had spirits coming through, and there was a big click in the room and what have you, I'd use my thumbs to click yes for good and yes and no for bad. So I started that just with these two thumbs here. It was this thumb here that used to click like that, like that, and it doesn't do that anymore because I don't really need it anymore. It's really remedial. But and then I sort of kind of going at this, and as I was, so if you imagine if you're looking at an organ, so like the liver.
Let's use an example. Take the kidneys or a liver. Explain about the archetype sort of shape, and then how you would approach that with your hands and so on.
So if I've got the kidney. First things first, I'm sitting, I don't actually physically touch people when I do this. I'm literally just playing in their aura. So within their aura, I'm asking their energy to show me their kidneys.
Right.
So I get these.
How do you see them?
How do I see them? I actually see them like beads, three beads in a row, not like a kidney bean.
Shape.
Yeah, but it is in a way because it's got like these two beads at the top, and then I've got it's like three beads that goes along it. Now, that's the sort of thing I see, and I get two like that. They are slightly curved inwards, and what have you, and then I'd look at it physically, but then you don't get an archetypal shape. You do, but you don't, because everyone's kidneys are slightly different physically, you know. But you know. So I go through that, and is when you break through, you end up with rather than seeing like when I see auras, when I'm looking at someone's aura, I can see like plumes of colours and stuff like that, which is really beautiful. It's very pastel. It's really beautiful to watch. But once you go into the energy of something that's inside, like it becomes a lot more electric, neon almost. You know, and so you're going, and I'm tracing this neon shapes, and then I'd find like neon strands coming away from it. And I'm kind of going, what are those strands coming away? Where are they going? And I'm very brutal. I'll just grab the strands and start tugging at it and see what it does. You can see where there's a vein coming off because it doesn't have the same, it's got form and shape. So
you talk about texture and shape, and you see things on lots of different dimensions, effectively.
Yeah. So you can see it in multitudes of ways.
So do your fingers click as you're looking in? Or?
No, as I'm going in. So let's just say I know someone who's one of my patients who's got kidney problems. So I'm going to pick that person out there. So I bring that person here. So now I've got that. So as I'm going around, I can feel the bumps. It's not smooth, and I can see within me the electrical current that's being arced out rather than following the straight plan. So I know that there's a problem there between the connecting currents. So basically, I've got to pull that arc back in to its surface place, everything in its place, and as it gets into place there, that's
the famous click.
So I click it in, and it's almost as if like my fingers are giving a discharge to a point of energy, which gives it a standing wave that gives the habit of the kidney to remain in the good condition it should do.
So you have an energy blueprint that you know, and you are effectively like an energy surgeon pulling it back to the blueprint.
Exactly, yeah. But I started doing that on a very physical level, and I started doing the healing after I started when I was 33, really honestly. And energy kept saying to me, wait. And the way I started with, that's an amazing situation.
Another episode.
That is some mind-blowing.
Lots more to talk about.
That could go into the near-death experience because it is mind-blowing once we knowing our karmic path and stuff like that. But anyway, back to the energy healing, is like what I started discovering is when I started sticking my fingers into these points, I was getting a lot of emotions, my own, emotions running through me. I was also getting visions of things that may happen, or almost sort
associated
of like codes
with the
problem. Exactly. So then that's when, and the thing is, I had no, because when I'm working, when I'm actually really working, I no longer think about what I'm actually saying anymore. So I could be saying to someone else, like for this person here, I kind of going, why are you scared of living life by yourself, engaged in life by yourself? Not living life by yourself, but why are you frightened of living your life? And
so that's the message that's coming
through.
Yeah. And as future videos will explain, the whole emotional underpinning physical problems.
Totally.
So that's how you started putting all the pieces together and all this information. So every person you saw, every story that you built and refined the energy system that you have. And from my perspective, for you to be able to just pop up neon pictures of kidneys and nervous systems, I call you the walking, talking MRI because that is how I see you. It is absolutely breathtaking to see how you can literally.
I had a gentleman today
and zoom in almost like on an iPad. You can go in and have a close look to any part of the body.
You can go down to the cells. You can go down to the DNA. And you can go upwards. So you can go to other dimensions, like acid libraries, but don't be bamboozled about it. It's not like, I'm here to put
it's a different diagnosis.
I'm very common sense, even when I'm looking and dealing with entities from other planets, you know what I mean?
But for you, it's just diagnosis. You want to get to the root of the problem, and that might come from any number of causes. So it's a diagnostic. As a medical doctor, we'll go through a list of things. You go through your own set of criteria, parameters to find out what's going on.
And that sort of brings in loads of other things, such as rhythms in energy, rhythms in people, which is another episode.
Yeah, we
you know what I mean? It's too much to explain in this. I'm trying to keep it short.
This is the introduction.
As many people said in the comments, it sounds interesting, but it sounds very complicated. And I tend to tell about the end product, and I forget about the 30 years I've been working on this all the way through, and I forget about a lot of information.
But this is why it would be fantastic to now.
And you're helping to bring it out of me.
To anchor you down for from the ether for a few minutes.
Good idea.
And start sharing this stuff from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay.
Not from the bottom, surely we can
from the ground up.
Yeah.
Or from the centre of the earth up. Who knows?
Exactly, from the centre of the earth.
Brilliant. So on to the next episode. We will be bringing you plenty
that's sort of energy healing. Yeah. So it's not just about one thing. It's not just about the physical. It's also about the emotional. It's also about energy and spiritual. There's loads of things. We're going
to connect all the dots.
Yeah, and that's what we've got to try and do. So we maybe in the future we'll be taking an organ and we will be connecting all those dots connected with that organ.
And going in and looking at them.
Yeah, going in and looking at them. Yeah, which is going to be fun.
Excellent. Right, until the next episode.
Yeah.
We look forward
to
seeing you soon.
Don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.